Hello all, this is David from Sunward Hobbies, and because my Wingnut Wings video garnered so much attention, I felt that today we could have another Fireside Chat. Fireside Chat. Today, I thought we'd talk about another model maker, that being Revell. Revell is a plastic scale model manufacturer whose origins can be traced back to Tinseltown itself, Hollywood, California in 1943. It was founded by my boy Louis H. Glazer, and it was originally known as Precision Specialties, where they made plastic molds contracted for other companies. Apparently, one of their first products was a washing machine. So if they had never branched out, we could have had the Revell repairman. Not long after, they did indeed branch out, first into toys such as HO scale trains, cars, and buildings. And then to differentiate this new toy line, they renamed it Revell, from the French word Revell, meaning new beginning or awakening. Then in 1953, when the hobby really started catching on, they further expanded into plastic models of ships, planes, and space rockets that you could build and paint. You're probably saying by now, wow, David looks jacked. Thank you. But you're probably also saying, where did this whole Revell USA and Revell Germany thing come from? Fair enough, and I'll tell you. In the 1950s, scale modeling was becoming huge in America, but it was still in its infancy in Europe. So in 1956, Revell decided to form a European subsidiary in West Germany to help grow the hobby overseas. Remember when there were two Germanys? I don't. But despite being a subsidiary, Revell Plastics GmbH were allowed to develop their own kit lines to sell in Europe and America. And even back then it was better quality than the US one. But let's not forget about the third wheel in all of this, Monogram. Monogram started off as a totally separate entity in 1945 in Chicago, releasing balsa wood ships and airplanes. And once Revell started production on plastic scale model kits, Monogram, like a jealous neighbor that has to do what you do only better, threw their hat in the ring and also joined the plastic scale model boom with what they called plastikits. For decades, these two early titans were battling it out for model kit supremacy, always thinking of ways to get the upper hand, such as hiring car customizers as designers, or going bigger and badder with 1/16 or 1/8 scale offerings. However, by the late 1970s and early 80s, major inflation was hitting businesses hard, including Revell and Monogram. Up to this point, Monogram had been owned by Mattel, and Revell had just been purchased by French company Général de Jouets in 1980. When other companies are purchasing your IP, you know you're in trouble. But Jouet's efforts into expanding the European market proved to be futile, as Revell was sold again, this time to New York-based company Odyssey Partners in 1986. Shortly after purchasing, Monogram So the once bitter rivals were now merged into one entity, and that is where all of the world's problems can be traced back to. By the late 1980s, with video games taking over as the new pastime for America's youth, modeling in the US was near extinct, and this next part of the story should surprise nobody. Revell Monogram had become likened to that of a hot potato starting in 1994 when they were purchased by Hallmark Cards for some reason. Then in 2001 they were sold to Alpha International, and then a year later Gearbox Toys bought them, and then in 2007 Hobbico acquired them, and they didn't sell it off in less than a year. Hell, I don't want it. You take it.
I don't want it. You take it.
I don't want it. You take it.
And where was Revell Germany during all this craziness? Pretty much just doing their own thing in Europe, making models and taking names. Those names being Frog and Matchbox, as well as finally becoming an independent entity in 2006, exactly 50 years after they were formed. But then in 2012, Hobbico also acquired them and reunited them with their American counterpart. And after all that drama, Revell lived happily ever after for about 6 years. Then in 2018, Hobbico filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. This is a soap opera. All My Kits. So then, by this point, Revell Germany had been purchased by the investment group Quantum Capital Partners, who proceeded to, once again, split up Germany and the US. Revell Germany has their own market, doing very well, and Revell USA is acting like a warehouse / importer of all Revell's kits into North America. And to this day, Revell is doing pretty good, reboxing many new kits every year. I mean, releasing many new kits every year. And that's the history of Revell, from humble upstart to dispensable hot potato to revitalized hobby giant. Now say what you want about Revell. Their quality may be subpar sometimes, or they rebox kits more often than a cheap aunt who resends the same birthday card. But they are one of the pioneers of our hobby, who did indeed leave their mark on the industry as well as on amusing merger stories. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you are a Revell loyalist, feel free to check out all our Revell kits, paints, and tools at Sunward Hobbies in store or online. Thank you very much for watching the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our socials, and until the next one, adios.